without any further ado, this 3-day workshop, to me, it's going to be really significant in the community because we have someone with tremendous amount of experience when it comes to local businesses as well as the SaaS component, and even, obviously Beant build a fabulous company called Extendly around the support services as well. So we're hoping to learn from him towards the end of the 3-day workshop as well. Without any further ado, Beant, thanks for saying yes to us, man. I know people are trickling in. We've got our automations firing. But what has been your journey like as really a pretty big name in the community, if you ask me? And I know you're not going to toot your own horn. So, what's been your journey like?
Yeah, it's definitely been nothing short of exciting, right? There's so much opportunity within the high level space. I was lucky enough to get started in somewhere around the 2020s when I found high level for my marketing agency at the time, and just being involved with the whole high level space and the platform itself, using it for my own businesses, it showcased the true power the platform holds, and how it really ties into the operational core of your business. So I'm excited to talk about that as well. But the journey's definitely been one that's nothing short of exciting.
Absolutely. And if you are brand new to our high level world in general, maybe this is your first like streaming ever that you're seeing. We have multiple programs that we run. We have the 5-day challenge, we have the 3-day workshop that we're getting ready to start here. We have master classes, we have podcasting, which is called the Spotlight Sessions, and we have even boot camps and a couple of other programs that are all part of our educational efforts to really level up our crowd and our audience in a way when it comes to marketing, digital marketing, SaaSpreneurship, as well as affiliate marketing in multiple ways. So if you are just now trickling into our world of this streaming, you're going to notice that our Zoom chat is intentionally turned off. And Jordan here, one of our admins, he's going to go through and put the streaming link in the chat where you can watch us and comment through the I'm sorry, the streaming itself. So I would love for you to tell us what city you're checking in from, what kind of an industry are you in. So click on that link that you see on Zoom if you're already in it, or go to any of our social channels right now. We are pretty much live across all channels, I think 9 or 12 or something like that. So you should be able to watch from really any modality that you feel comfortable in. Without any further ado, brick and mortar businesses. We are going to talk a lot about it over the next 3 days. And for those of you that are watching, we're going to also have a trial offer. If you are new to the world of high level, we provide a 30-day trial if you jump into one of these 3-day workshops. But beyond, help us understand the landscape of local businesses, mom and pop shops. And feel free to share your screen if you want. I made you a co-host. I know we have a lot prepared. And let's just go ahead and get started as people are slowly coming in.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, let's get things on the road here. And by the way, if you're new to high level or haven't signed up for high level, I would definitely urge you to sign up, because this isn't an opportunity you want to miss, and it's a great software for brick and mortar businesses, local businesses, or any business of any kind, really. And I'm going to show you exactly how we use it for our own businesses. I happen to own a few businesses which high level is using on a day-to-day basis. It's become an operational core of our businesses. It's a software that we just can't get rid of anymore from the core of those businesses, because, well, I'll talk about it. I'll show you exactly what it does for us. So yeah, brick and mortar businesses and how we can empower the local businesses with the marketing automations here. Just to get a little bit of the agenda out of the way. So on day one, we're going to talk about the perfect automations that local businesses need and use. Then that you can implement yourself for your business or for your clients if you're helping other clients as well. I'll also walk you through the exact automations that I use for my businesses as well. And then on day two, we're going to go over the power of SMS and emails to boost sales for almost any local business, right? These two components are so powerful, they're almost overlooked and not utilized as much as they should be. They can literally help boost sales for any local businesses, and it's definitely done so for us as well. And then on day three, we're going to talk about how to support your customers and make them happy so they become super fans, right? That's what we all want. We want customers that are super excited to be using our product and our services. And we're going to talk about exactly how we do that as well. So you might be asking, who is this for? Really, any sort of business, whether you're a mom and shop or a local business, restaurant, salon, gym, healthcare, whatever niche you may be in. My understanding is that if you're a business and you need to gain customers, you need to use high level, right? Honestly, it works for almost every single type of business. I can't think of one that it wouldn't work for. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that as well. So the goals for today, first, let's learn, why do local business owners need automation, right? To begin with, why are automations even necessary? Then which automations does every business need? Where do we get started with which automation that's important for us? And then finally, the perfect package for local businesses. I also have a little surprise to share with you at the end of the presentation. So stay tuned with me and let's go ahead and get started. And you might be wondering, who the hell is this guy and why should we even listen to you, right? Paulson welcomed me in earlier, but just to talk a little bit about myself here, I got my start at the age of 16 when I started my security company. And then I quickly realized business wasn't as fun and it was definitely more difficult than what I thought. So I failed in a restaurant business and a marketing business. Then I went back to my security company and said, I'm going to work hard and dedicate myself to just this so that I can make it successful. And today that company runs on its own and it only requires an hour or two of my time every month. And then we got into restaurants. And just last month, we opened up our eighth location. And matter of fact, we used High Level to do the grand opening there as well. And we'll talk about how exactly we did that. And I also happen to be a founder of a white label support company in the high level space that serves about 1,000 customers today and a little bit over 100 team members. And last year we launched our AI app called Hey Levi. So along the way, it also earned me a few awards. I was published in magazines for being the top video surveillance solution provider in 2022. And last year at Level Up, we took home all of the three awards that High Level had to offer. Are there more awards? Can we comment on those?
I think there are going to be more awards coming up.
All right, fantastic. By the way, if you haven't been to the Level Up Summit, the High Level Summit, it's happening in October again. I wholeheartedly invite you and urge you to attend. It's an amazing summit with a lot of value delivered there as well. So check that out also. So perhaps this helps you validate that I know a thing or two about growing businesses, and I have learned these skills over the last 20 years of me being in business. So let's buckle up and get started. But before we do, there's a little bit of a gift that we have for you. So those that attend all 3 days, every single one of the 3 days of this workshop, you'll get access to our three-level course that we created to help making high level easier, learning easier, right? But you must attend all 3 days and it's yours. This course literally sells for $4,995 on our website. It's yours for free, nothing required from you, but you do have to make one promise to me. The promise that I'm asking for is that you're going to pay attention to this workshop, you're going to learn, and you're going to apply, right? You're not going to just sit there and listen and not do anything after that, because otherwise that's a waste of everyone's time. It's a waste of your time as well. And you're giving us your most valuable asset today, which is your time. So I want you to learn and apply, not just listen. If you're committed to doing that, please, wherever you're streaming in from, comment in there, let us know that you're committed, and let's get to share our secret number one here. The biggest belief I have is that simplicity is the key to success, right? Keeping things simple is extremely important, but we often hear many times that people make things overcomplicated and sometimes perhaps for no good reason. Maybe it's the need to dive into the tech, or you're just super excited about everything high level has to offer, all the 100 million features that we have, although they're phenomenal and there's a time and way to use them. But keeping things simple definitely helps. And overcomplicating never really helped anyone, right? I want you to take a look at this example, just like when a baby is first born, right? The baby first learns to crawl, then they learn to walk, then they learn to run, right? They're not right out of the gate just running because that's what they want to do. They first learn to crawl, walk, and then run, right? You got to do the same thing with your business, this platform, and anything really in life. You want to first learn the basics and then apply those basics to fill in the gaps, right? Then you want to find more gaps and optimize for those. Then you want to get more advanced and find more gaps and then optimize for those. And eventually, sooner or later, you're going to be using the entire platform, the features, and they're going to work really, really well together. So what does every business need, right? Do we all think that every business needs more leads, and more new opportunities, right? That's really the way to grow a business. If we get more leads and more new opportunities. Well, you're not necessarily wrong there. That's definitely true. And it's definitely true for any startup business as well. But for local businesses, there's an easier solution that most just happen to ignore. I'm not sure why, but it's just ignored. It's the value of just the fact they are a brick and mortar location and they exist, right? And they have customers. That brick and mortar location is their biggest advertising sign that without even doing anything brings them customers. And that's what we're ignoring. And most businesses just unintentionally ignore that or fail to solve for the operational leaky bucket that they may have with just tapping into their existing sources. The opportunities are already there. The new leads, the new customers. Yes, I know we all want more, but let's help streamline what's already naturally coming in. It'll help you be worth a lot more to your customers. And the leads and customers that are already there, they need to be solved for. They need to be optimized a bit more so you can capture them and gain more from that existing flow that's naturally just coming in. However, they are slipping through the cracks. So let's plug those leaky buckets up and excuse me. So the calls are already coming in, but they're being missed, right? And you already have an existing list. Most businesses don't even realize this, but they have a list of their customers in their database. POS systems, CRMs, right? Whatever else maybe you might be using to invoice people, your QuickBooks, right? There's a list there that's just not being used. And you already did a great job for a ton of customers, but you're not showcasing it anywhere online, right? You're not asking your happy customers to give you the word of mouth that they deserve, that you deserve through leaving you a review or giving you feedback, testimonial videos, or whatever that may look like for that business. So the opportunities are already there. All you need to do is fix those leaky buckets. And the biggest question we might be asking is, but how? How do we do that? Let me introduce you to something very, very simple that this platform does very beautifully, and it's automations, right? That's how we begin to fix the leaky bucket. Every business today, in this day and age, needs an automation system in place. And now you might be asking, okay, great. We know automations, high level does a whole bunch of automations, but which automations do we really need,
Yeah,
right?
beyond before you go into further just sharing how we're gonna
Uh-huh.
kind of plug in these leaks, help us understand the relationship at this point, right? So we are a digital marketing provider of some kind or a SaaS provider. and we're going to the local businesses, how do they know that we can fix their problems? Like what are the initial sales conversations? Are you talking about, organically plugging in these buckets, leaky buckets, even before they become a customer, or is this during the onboarding? Like, help us understand the sales landscape of this first.
Yeah, I think, the in talking to I own a few restaurants, right? So let's just say someone came to me and wanted to talk to me about how they can solve for the problem at the restaurant. One of the things that happened at the restaurants when we first took over the restaurants was the old owner said, "Hey, we miss a lot of phone calls. If you just solve for that problem, your sales would increase automatically." And those type of problems exist in every business, right? There. And so here's this old owner, the owner before us, telling us that if you just solve for the fact that we miss a lot of phone calls, hire more staff and make sure you answer every single one of those phone calls, and you'll have a lot more orders coming in, right? So that's one problem. Someone else may have a different issue. So it's really looking at what those problems are that businesses are looking to solve, and then associating high levels features. Generally, they're the core features that high level offers to be able to solve for that. The other thing that almost every business doesn't have but needs is just a simple way to keep communication flowing, right? If you go to any business, let's take I also own a security company, which we're going to talk about. And that's a service-based company, right? So let's take any home service companies. They all need to communicate with their customers,
Customers. Yep.
right?
Yep.
How do they communicate today? Usually only phone calls, right? But customers are looking for an easier way to communicate. Not everyone's wanting to be on hold, wait for the call to ring, 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 then someone answer. And for most local businesses, it goes to a voicemail when it doesn't get answered. And today, unfortunately, no one really checks their voicemails, right? So it's presenting these features to say, okay, great. What happens when you go to the voicemail? You're literally missing those calls that are already coming into you. And if we gave you a unified inbox where you could see the entire history of a conversation that's taking place with your customers, right? Whether it's a missed call or an email or an actual call that took place, or they want to communicate with you through text, you're opening up that conversation to spark the idea in that business owner to something that they're not really applying today. And that leads to, a further conversation into being able to pitch your product.
I love that. And I think one of the biggest mistakes a lot of early SaaSpreneurs and seasoned digital marketers make is they lose control of the conversation because they open up the box of high level and talk about all the different capabilities where you're not providing like a prescription like a physician would at a hospital, right? You're like you have a diagnosis as a patient. Here's the prescription of medicine that you need. And that mentality to me is just not there yet. And so then all of a sudden you turn into the IT guy that just handles automations versus the marketing strategist that could do automations.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I see majority of the marketing agencies always just leading with is, hey, we're going to help you get more customers. We're going to help you get more customers. That's what our platform does. They focus more on the marketing side of the aspect
The
rather
acquisition, yeah.
than, yeah, the acquisition, rather than becoming the operational core of that business, right? So for example, when you become an invoicing system for that, or a payment gateway for that business, there's no way they're getting rid of you, right? No matter what happens, you're tied in at the hip, and you're not gonna churn just because they had a bad month. They'll still need to invoice, right? Similarly, they'll still need to have conversations with their customers, right? They'll need to answer phone calls and communicate via text message, or whatever other social channels there may be with their customers. That one feature alone is worth the gold for these businesses if just presented appropriately to tie it into their operational core rather than talking about how we can help you get more customers.
Yeah, makes total sense. Let's keep going. So the five core automations that are magical, huh?
Yeah, and I truly believe that because that's they've literally created magic for my own businesses and as well. And I've got some real life examples in there. So yeah, there's five particular core automations and features of high level that I believe are just truly magical, especially when you apply them to a business use case, to a real business use case, right? It's not that there's, this feature, that feature, and this is how it applies across every single business. You really got to dig a little deeper into how am I solving the problem for that business to getting them closer to a sale or improved experience for their customers. So let's go ahead and talk about that. First one, we were, matter of fact, just talking about this is the conversations inbox, right? It makes it easy to communicate. You'll never, using the conversation inbox, you'll never miss a communication on any channel. So you don't have to log in and log out of Facebook, Instagram, this, that, and the other, emails, right? Everything is kept together in that one window pane inside High Level, and your entire conversation is synced. Anyone can literally jump in and see, okay, what was being talked about with this customer, listen to a phone call, whatever the case is, and the entire history is there for them. And then next up is reviews. Reviews are really, really good. It's the modern word of mouth. Your happy customers won't just leave you reviews. You got to ask for them. While your unhappy customers will be quick to that trigger to leave you a negative review just because they had a bad experience, right? But sometimes not even that. Sometimes you want to know before that person is able to leave you that negative review. You want to know what happened. So asking for those reviews is extremely important, and the automations definitely allow you to do that. And my third up is web chat. Your visitors, just like we were talking about it earlier, your visitors need a convenient way to start that conversation with you instead of having to call you. Not everyone likes to call businesses these days, especially if it's after business hours. They know you're closed, so they're not going to call you. And next morning, when they've left your site, they're going to remember, are they going to remember when they're busy in their day to day that, oh, I was supposed to call that business. Let me go look them up again and find their phone number and try to call them. Instead, put a web chat widget on your website, let them message in so that you can follow up with them next morning. So that allows you to capture the lead, and you have much higher chances of converting them. Database reactivation, or simple format, is sending SMS and email communication to stay on top of mind of your business. You already have a contact base of customers that are coming in, customers that have bought from you in the past. You could ask them to refer you to other customers. You can ask them to come over and buy from you over and over again. And it's much easier to ask them to refer or buy from you rather than having to spend more on ads to acquire more new customers. It's much, much cheaper to do business with existing customers. And then the missed call text back. Missed calls literally turn your missed calls into sales conversations. That's what happens. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. But you might also be thinking, hey, that's nothing revolutionary. We already know these features exist. And that's nothing magical. Remember earlier on, I said simplicity is the key. And I'm going to show you exactly how that magic happens. Keep in mind, well, there you go. Simplicity is the key. When you actually apply these automations to actual use cases of real businesses, that's when you see the life come out of these features, especially when you get to see how they plug in those leaky buckets that we talked about. So with that being said, let me actually show you and share how I use these exact features and automations in my businesses and how they've created real life magic for me. All right, so the first one we use is the conversations inbox. Again, we were just talking about this earlier. It's used in a very, very similar format, and it makes it really easy for our teams to communicate. It's an extremely simple and yet powerful tool. A lot of times we just overlook, just because the tool is so simple, we overlook the power that that tool has, right? So when you attach this tool to the operational systems of the business, that's what makes it extremely powerful. And this is how we use it on a daily basis. At my security company called Ovis, our customer service department uses it to communicate with our clients. We use it to listen to recorded conversations. And that's the beautiful feature this platform provides. By the way, how many businesses that actually record calls and know that their managers have an easy way to go back and listen to calls, right? Most businesses don't. They just record calls, but if there's a problem, they don't even know how to get to those recorded calls. Yet in this platform, and we do that every single day on a regular basis. Those call conversations are right there. You scroll up, you see a call, you hit the play button, you're literally listening to what conversation that happened. And we use that to help train our team members better, help field any customer complaints we may have, and provide better customer service experience to our customers, right? So there's that power that in just one tiny little feature that you get to unlock that normally you wouldn't even have access to, just the recorded calls itself, right? There's obviously a bunch of other ways as well to use that feature, but that's just one tiny little problem I wanted to share with you. At Extendly or Hey Levi, it's used every single day in communication with our customers, from promotions, onboarding, supporting our current customers. Everything we do, any sort of communication that's required, those two companies depend on that conversations inbox. We don't use any of the third-party phones. We don't use any other third-party apps to communicate with them. The entire conversation is taking place inside that conversations inbox, day in, day out. And then next, every business also needs the missed call text back ability, right? This is a super cool feature. And this this particular feature at my pizza shops, it's literally increased our sales uh, through online orders and reduced the dependency on our staff to be answering those calls. It also increased our order accuracy, right? Because when you're calling over the phone, a lot of time, how many of you guys had called over the phone and literally had your pizza order screwed up because the person didn't understand what you were saying or misheard you, right? That happens. It's quite often. It happens at our places as well. But when you're ordering online, there's not another person who's screwing up your order. You know exactly what you're ordering. So increased our order accuracy, which helped us reduce complaints, right? And ordering online also made us provide upsells consistently, eliminating the human factor over the phone and asking for, hey, would you like to add a 2-liter soda with that, right? It's automatically being presented to them so that it's being offered consistently. That helps you increase your sales. That all starts when a call comes in, we miss that call, and we, instead of saying, hey, we're sorry that we missed your call, we're applying the feature to be applied to the business by saying that, hey, we're sorry we missed your call, but did you know you can also order online? By the way, here's our website link that allows you to order online. That leads more orders to be ordered through the online system versus the phone. Not that we miss our calls purposely, but whenever we do miss the call, that message goes out. And for the next time, that customer gets used to it. Hey, I don't need to call in. They've got an online ordering thing. I can order there, right? It's something that the person did not know about, but they learned when they were trying to call in for order. It also became one of the most profitable features we implemented. We saw a significant increase in our online orders. We just talked about that, right? And we also did not need to hire additional staff in order to attend those phone calls that were coming in. So not only that it increased our sales, but it also helped us reduce expenses on the labor side by not needing to hire additional staff members just so that we can attend every single phone call, right? So that's what I'm talking about. When you implement a simple feature and apply it to the core of that business and how that business operates, that's when magic happens, right? Normally you would say, oh, a missed call text back feature, cool, right? It'll, when a call is missed, it'll say, hey, we're sorry you missed your call. Then what, right? There's a way to apply these features to exactly how that business needs to use them so it can move you a little bit closer to that sale. And that's exactly what we did in this case. And that's where the magic happens when you apply the features in that manner.
Also, Bian, I love the statement you made about the accuracy and the quality control, because quality control is not something that could be measured when everything is a manual process, right? So when you throw
That's
in
right.
automations in there, you can see how many, the quantity of people that ordered XYZ, what kind of specials should you be running. Like, I mean, I was in New York, I'm in New York still, and we were here for my brother-in-law's wedding. And I mean, we partied the whole time. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock come in, everybody's hungry. We're all in the lobby of the resort, like hotel thing, and we're ordering on Uber Eats like left and right. And these guys were missing half the orders, and everybody was pissed off. Like if fries are missing. We're just ordering McDonald's, like it's late night, nothing else, right? And half the stuff is missing though. Like there's like 30, 40 of us, and everybody's pissed off. And two of them were like looking up which McDonald's is what so they can leave a bad review. And I'm like, it's not that serious, you know? But the funny part is when things don't go the right way, it irritates the customers, right? They don't
That's
appreciate the good experience, but they will get upset with the bad experience. And when you have an automation in place, it levels up the accuracy of things. It serves in a better, it complements the staff instead of replacing them in a way.
Absolutely. You know, you're eliminating that human factor of we're all human, we're all bound to make mistakes. Sometimes just because our mood was off that day or whatever the case is, or the last customer that came in, you know, threw the mood off, right? Whatever the case may be. And you're not consistent in your delivery. While automations, they'll act exactly that way. They don't have to worry about the mood or someone had a fight with someone or they were happy or unhappy, whatever the case is. The automations are going to work the same way every single time.
Love it. All right, reviews. We were just talking
Yeah.
about not leaving bad reviews.
Not leaving bad reviews. And sometimes they're not bad. I mean, you still want to hear about them as well.
Yeah.
So next up is that every business definitely needs reviews. More importantly, every business needs an automated way of asking for those reviews, right? Almost every potential customer before buying wants to look you up and wants to see, hey, how many reviews do you have? What are other people saying about you before it's the new word of mouth, right? Before they do business with you. But however, what happens in most businesses is we don't consistently ask for those reviews, right? So the automations help us eliminate that human factor so that we do have that consistency of asking for those reviews, especially from our happy customers. A lot of the happy customers won't just go and leave you a review. So the more asks leads to more reviews. This automation helps you remove that inconsistency that we were just talking about of the human factor. Regardless of their mood, you're going to be able to have that automation go out and ask. And sometimes it may not be for a happy customer, it might be for a unhappy customer. However, those unhappy reviews are just extremely as important as showcasing a bunch of happy reviews because when a customer is unhappy, you want to know why they were unhappy, right? So you have the chance to fix that problem. That way, future customers are not unhappy for the same reason instead of just ignoring the fact that they were unhappy, their problem. I'm going to continue business as is. Well, that's going to lead to more unhappy customers as well, which could eventually lead to the end of the business as well. So that's why those unhappy customers, the feedback from those unhappy customers is extremely important as well. I'm going to show you the review funnel that we use that we've implemented at the pizza restaurants, so you can do something similar for your business as well. So we have an automation that consistently asks for reviews, whether it's a customer who had a great experience or a bad experience. The automation goes out, and all it does is says, "Hey, pizza lover, we hope you enjoyed our fusion flavor craft pizzas. Did we deliver a 5-star experience to you?" That's it. That's all it asks for, right? And when they respond, most of the time they respond with yes, and once in a while we'll also get, oh, the pizza wasn't good, or it wasn't hot enough, or this or that was wrong, and we want to know about those items as well, right? And what happens is when we get those the negative or the unhappy feedback, the customers are messaging us in, and we respond back to those customers as well. And that turns that mood around for that customer from going unhappy to, okay, they've actually acknowledged it. I'm not going to go on their Google or Yelp and leave them a negative review instead. And the manager or whoever responded to me have acknowledged it. They're going to do whatever they're going to do to fix it, right? But on the opposite side, when they respond back with yes, another automation message goes out that says, "That's awesome. How about a 5-star rating? Let's tell the whole world about it," right? And why you love our pizzas. And here's the link, which leads them to this review funnel that we have. And this is a compliant review funnel without the whole anti-gating requirements that Google has placed, right? So it's compliant with that. And it's simply asking, hey, if you had a bad experience, click this contact us directly button. Otherwise, click on one of these red buttons that says leave a review on Google or on Yelp, right? So we're still giving them a chance to contact us directly in case they and they're going here. And that filters some of the helps us filter or helps us know what those negative feedback may be. When a customer contacts us directly, we have much higher chances of knowing what exactly happened, going back and reviewing that and fixing the problem for them. Versus when it goes on Google, we don't know the order ID, we don't know, if that's the correct name or incorrect name, whatever the case is, right? It allows us to uh, operate efficiently when customers contact us directly there. And sometimes it slips through and it goes to the Google reviews as well, which is also fine. You don't necessarily have to have a 5-star rating every single time. It also helps to know the feedback the customers are giving you as well. So after they leave a review, the AI review, we use the AI review response automation to respond to every single one of those reviews. Before we took over the restaurants, the previous owner had a gentleman that they had hired for all of their locations. And what they were doing was they were paying this person $200 per month to go and respond to every single one of these reviews, right? We've eliminated that's across 8 locations, that's $1,600 a month,
Wow.
right?
I
That's
mean,
been
I bet that's how mom and pops operate today. They get their nephew or niece or a
yeah.
friend or someone in the neighborhood or somebody that can just field it for them. So keep going, keep going. I don't want to stop you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that piece alone, right? Someone is spending some time, whether they're paying for that time or not, someone is spending some time, and it saves us hours on hours by having the reviews AI do this automatically, and it's always on point. It never fails to not address the issue there, whether it's a positive review or a negative review. It answers it very, very accurately as well. And sometimes the inconsistency on the human side may not even be as accurate as this AI platform has been for us. And all of that led to hundreds of reviews across our sites, and which also helps the Google SEO ranking as well, helps us rank much higher. So that's how reviews help the business and how it's helped us. Next up
Yeah.
is,
So we
sorry.
have, we have four total, right? So can you just review quickly the four that you've already shared or the three that you shared before we go into DBRs?
Yeah, so we've gone over the conversations inbox, the
Unified inbox. Yeah.
yep, the unified inbox there for conversations, the missed call and reviews. That's what we've
It's
covered,
called text back and reviews.
and
And then now
reviews.
we're going to talk about DBRs. So this is the prescription that you basically provide almost all local businesses, regardless of where they are, as the first step in marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we talked about it earlier. They already have a presence. They already have customers coming in. They don't necessarily need to monetize the new platform or the new service they may have just by adding in more new customers. They're
Yeah.
looking for more sales, right? They're looking for improved experience, right? Not necessarily new leads or new customers. You can create new sales, more sales through their existing customer base as well, right? And that's all that matters to any business, right? You and I, same thing, right? We're in business. The only thing that matters to grow the business is more sales, not necessarily new leads or new customers, right? Generally, what we do is we attach that new leads and new customers is the only way to get more sales, right? And we
Yeah.
miss that we already have happy customers who we can invite back to order from us over and over again.
Yeah.
So that's where the database reactivation comes in, which allows you to contact your existing customers. And there you go. We were just talking about that. You don't need more leads. You just need a way to engage and bring back those existing customers to buy from you and or refer you to their friends and family so that they can come and become your customers as well. At Extendly or Hey Levi, we use the SMS blast to get people to attend our webinars and workshops that we do, right? We invite them over and over again. They're already on our list. We want them to learn from whatever it is that we're talking about, and eventually that helps them become our customer as well. And at the pizza restaurants, we use it to send off promotional coupons to existing customers and inviting them back as well to order again. That helps us increase our order frequency from them. And then at Ovis, we use SMS Blast to get more referrals, right? So you might be, let's say, a roofer, right? In this case, we're a security company. A business is only going to need a security camera system once every like 5 years or something like that. And they're not coming back to you the next year or the next month to come and order again, unless they're expanding their business, opening up more locations or something like that, right? But so instead of going and say, hey, are you ready for another camera system? We go, hey, we know you've had a great experience with us. Would you like to refer your friends or family or any other business owner that you know that can benefit from our services, right? So it's applying it in the way that business needs it instead of just the same way across all businesses. So there's three ways that I've just shared with you how database reactivation is used differently based on the different type of businesses that we are in. Here's an example of a promo that we use at our pizza restaurants that goes out. And it simply says, let's pizza tonight, enjoy 20% off on any pizza, and the name of the location code. Here's the code, and it's valid for pickup only, expires, it could be a date. We said expires tonight in this particular example. And
And
that's
this is going to existing customers that might have purchased in the past, or they
correct.
became a lead at least.
Correct. Yeah. Someone who landed on our database that we're sending out to, usually an existing customer as well. And that's an example of exactly how you can increase your sales without having to acquire new leads, acquire new customers, or have any ad spend at all, right? It's much cheaper to go out and to your existing customers. When we first took over, I want to kind of share the power of this message that went out. I wasn't that aware. I'm like, okay, great. We know this thing called database reactivation. Let's do it, right? And we sent out a blast to our entire list across 4 locations at the time, and yeah, each location has a list of about some are around 5 or 6 thousand, some around 10,000 or so people in that list. So we sent it off, and me and my business partner are, sitting there and we're talking, and then we open up the camera app on our phone, just to check to see how the stores are doing. And we see the store, it's our Cupertino location, and there's a line going out the door. And me and him both look at each other like, holy cow, let's go run over there and try to help those guys because we didn't expect and anticipate the power of this message going out, and that we would literally have a line out the door. For that reason, we didn't have enough staff at the store either to help out. Me and him were about 10 minutes away. We ran to the store, put our gloves on, started making pizzas and stuff and helping helping calm down the line. And that was a great experience there. From there, we learned that instead of sending out a message to the entire list, let's drip it out to a few hundred or a few thousand at a time over the course of a week or 15 days so that we can have a manageable experience. And that's what we do now every single time. And every single time one of
Yeah.
these messages go out, it means sales being added to that store.
Yeah.
It,
And I've heard similar stories where you blast a list and you're just bombarding your fulfillment and assembly line without really planning it properly. Like one of the key stories I remember from 2021, one of my good friends, Isaac Rubel, he's like a big automations guy, works with like Joel Kaplan and a lot of these guys. And they run automations for call centers. So when they'll have like a group of like 50, 60 cold callers or closers, and they would run voice drops inside of high level at scale. So they're blasting 2,000 voice drops, 3,000 voice drops within a couple of minutes. And I don't know if you know this, but among voice drop pricing, high level has one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest, pricing on voice drop deliveries compared to any of the competitors. And it's like a big thing that people ignore. So Isaac blasted the heck out of it, and it's literally hundreds and hundreds of phone calls inbound coming in to like 50 callers or 30 callers, which just bamboozle their list, and it just creates a lot of frustration because they're like, dude, we can't even get to 100 calls in 1 minute between 50 of us. So it's important that you plan out your marketing campaigns, regardless of what medium used. The same thing applies on paid ads, right? The same thing
right.
applies for if you did an influencer campaign off the stage. Like it all applies across the board where you have to make sure the fulfillment is ready. So as you're talking to the brick and mortar locations, as you're talking to those mom and pops, you need to make sure they're prepped for the type of traffic that you and I maybe know, and they're not. They're thinking, oh, it's another digital marketer. Almost half the things are not going to work. But when it does work, it creates a whole new different problem. So just be aware of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Similarly, Paulson, for Ovis, my security camera company, we did a referral campaign to our existing list. And again, these are, the mistakes you make, and then you learn from them, and then you're like, okay, now I got to do it better this time, next time. We ran a referral campaign, and without expecting so many referrals to come in, we were after that campaign, over the course of about a week or two, we were 90 days booked out. Where any new order came in, we couldn't even touch that installation until 90 days after. Um, that's how busy you can really get just by using your existing list, as long as you're doing it correctly. But
Love
all
it.
right. So let's keep moving. Holidays and special events is another example that you can use to send out these messages, and we do that as well. So when sports season comes up, the football season comes up, we've got this example that goes out. Hey, let's go Niners. Let's add some flavor to your spicy. Let's add some flavor to your party with fresh and spicy craft pizzas. Get $10 off your order of $75 or more. Order online and use this code, and you're able to take advantage of it. So we also learned, instead of having people call in, we want to tell them to order online. So now majority of our messages when they go out, the only option we give them to use that coupon code is if they're ordering online. We won't even tell them to call in, call in, because we know how busy it gets when these messages go out. there. So take advantage of those special events, holidays, holiday seasons. July 4th was just around the corner. Send out messages to the lists of the local businesses. They definitely add to the bottom line. And for us, like I said earlier, every single time one of these messages go out, it means dollars added to the sales revenue every single time without fail.
Which is incredible because now you're using organic marketing and automations as a insurance to the volatility of every business, right? You
That's
may be
right.
running paid ads, you may be running multiple initiatives, you may do Chamber of Commerce if you're a local business, you may do what is it called? BNI, where you're sharing referrals and lists and all the stuff, but like when you throw automations in there, it becomes the ultimate insurance for a lot of the volatility in revenue or even volume of traffic. Either way, it's a huge deal for a local business that has a very minimalistic marketing budget often per month.
Absolutely. Yeah, most businesses can't afford thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing budget. If you talk to a pizza restaurant owner, right? Someone came in and told me, "Hey, we're going to spend $2,000 a month on ads, and this is what it's going to get you." There's no way we're putting up that kind of money to spend on ads, right? When I know the power of this thing exists and what it can do for us. You know, you came and said that to my security camera company, I would consider it immediately because the ticket size is much higher, the profitability is different, but it doesn't apply to every single business. Uh, let's keep going. So here's another example of a follow-up sequence where after when the first message goes out, then another message follows up, and then we actually even have an email that goes out later as well as an insurance, just in case they didn't see the message. There's an email that goes out that's tied in with it as well. So there's definitely multiple ways to use that feature to just attract and talk to your existing customers. Imagine if you never had communication to your existing customers and you never invited them back to be doing business with you over and over again. Most likely, they're going to forget about you and they're going to be Googling, depending on the type of business, they're going to be Googling or looking up something else and trying something else instead of increasing that order frequency with you. With the pizza shops, that's exactly what we've done. Instead of them going to Roundtable or Mad Mike's or some of the other pizza shops, we're constantly telling them and inviting them back. You also want to be careful of how often you're sending out the promotional messages to them. So we don't do it every week or every other week either. We use it sparingly. There's now at this point, there's an automated campaign that we have that's structured in a slow drip format where it automatically just goes out. If they call us in, we remove them and delay the next message that goes out for another 21 days. That means
Wow.
if they're calling us in, that means they've ordered from us recently, right? Which means we won't send them a message for another 21 days later.
Yeah, let's take a step back. For those of you that are watching this workshop and you've never heard of high level or you don't know the capabilities of the workflows and systems like that, let's go the elementary route. What you're saying is inside of high level, you have automations that are scheduled and trickled. So you're not blasting the entire list all at once. You're
Yep.
basically picking and choosing which customer base or which class of customers or group of customers are getting certain types of messages. Can you help us understand that one more time?
Yeah, exactly. So, the way it works is, we initially load up the list into this automation, and it's got different steps and checks where it checks to. One of the checks that it does is, and the simplest example is when someone calls in the business. So we don't use your traditional AT&T or landline phone numbers. We use the number that's provided by High Level in all of our marketing on our Google, on our website, online ordering, everything. So every single call comes in through the CRM, right? Through the platform. And then it recognizes that this customer called in. And then there's the part of the automation says, if we received a call, right, within, and they have we tag everyone that calls in, and they have this tag, then remove them from this automation and put a delay of start in another 21 days, right? So it pushes them back instead of, a next week, another message going out to them and saying, hey, let's get 20% off or whatever the promo may be. It's not sending that message anymore because it realized this person just ordered from us. They're not going to order again in next 2 days or 3 days. So let's delay and get them to come in 3 weeks instead.
Yeah, and
So
I'm assuming you can do that even with the forms that you have, not just a call in, right? So you may
right,
even
right.
do that with the online orders, even if it's not a phone call order.
Absolutely. Yeah, a phone call is just one example that I use just to make it easy for people to understand. But yeah, there's
Brilliant,
multiple ways you can do that. You can do that in. You can
brilliant,
also
brilliant.
tie it into your POS data as well, or you can import in the list of recent orders, right? And there's multiple ways you can do those type of things. You can even look up, who ordered, who did not order in the last 90 days, and just send out a message to those folks only.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately in marketing, retention marketing is way easier than net new acquisition marketing, right? A lot of the marketers, they focus on lead generation, new leads, new leads, new leads. What you're doing is filling up the leaky buckets of an existing business with warm audience there. Then on top of that, you have a certain play that you run from a Niners analogy. It's a football play. We know we're going to run and block, and that's all we're going to do. We're not throwing any Hail Marys with paid ads. But
Yeah.
we know that we can control the flow. We can control the traffic with a certain type of a play. And that allows the business to kind of stabilize. It allows your staff to get stabilized in the assembly line. They're not just getting busy over like one day and then everybody's quitting on the back end. There's a lot of logistics that you're kind of carefully moving through.
Yeah, and all of those are important. Ultimately, new customers, new sales, more sales just doesn't mean dollars. You want to make sure the experience of that customer is intact as well, right? If you brought them in, if you brought in a bunch of customers, but you pissed them off, they're likely not coming back. What's the point of that, right? All right.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So we'll keep going here. The next one up, and this is our fifth one. I think we've gone through four so far. This is that every business needs a web chat widget. The power of this web chat widget is incredible. At Extendly and at Ovis, the chat widget is used to actually help the customer who's on our website, probably looking at products, and they may have a quick question they want to ask. We're helping them get closer to that buying decision. When they're on the website, they can choose to message in. Who's going to stop there and say, "Oh, let me pick up the phone and call and ask this question before," and I don't know if I'm actually going to get an answer or not, right? But instead, this message goes into to high level in the conversations inbox, and then we have dedicated people that are literally sitting there waiting to answer messages. When someone comes in, they answer the message appropriately, and there you go. Now we've moved that customer to closer to that buying decision, and potentially even made that sale, help make made that sale. But that's not the only way you can use this feature. It's also extremely helpful to capture leads after hours. Majority of the local businesses close at a certain time, and they won't have staff that will be able to answer their questions thereafter. You could definitely use AI as well to respond to this, but let's just assume in this example, it's a manual process, right? Let's say someone comes to your website, it's middle of the night, let's say it's midnight sometime, and they're looking at your services. You don't have a website chat widget on there. They're going to think about, okay, great, I found the place that I want to call to fix my XYZ, and I'm going to call them tomorrow because they're closed right now. And then tomorrow comes, they have to go to work or they got to take care of kids, and they've now forgotten about, dude, what was that website that I went to right? And now they're Googling again, and now they landed on a different website this time, and you just lost your chance of that customer contacting you because life happened to them and they got busy. And that's what happens to almost every single one of our prospects. So instead, let's put a website chat widget on the website. And this time, that same customer's on the website, they're going through, they're like, okay, great, I found this service. Now they're closed, I can't call them, but oh, look, they got a website chat widget. I'm going to go ahead and click on this thing and see if I can message them. And they message in, they enter in their phone number. They've said, hey, I need your services. Can someone please contact me? Yada, yada, yada. Right. And now that person has ticked off that task that they have to do, and they no longer need to be in search tomorrow, even if after they forgot about it, to contact another business. They know they're waiting to hear back from you. And then tomorrow morning, when you come, you're going to respond to that lead. And now you've just increased your chances of converting and having that sale through that website chat widget, all while you were sleeping,
It's
right?
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me play devil's advocate for a second. So let's say
Mhm.
beyond you're the digital marketer or this entrepreneur that's going to the brick and mortar. This whole 3-day workshop we're doing is around brick and mortar for those of you that might have just joined us here. So we're talking to the business owner and we're telling them there are four things at least or five things that you want us to allow, to change or update or control, right? First one is the unified inbox. Second one is the missed call text back. The third one is the reviews. The fourth one is a database reactivation. And the fifth one is a web chat. What happens when they're telling us, the brick and mortar location, that they have substitutes for one out of five, or maybe two out of five? Hey, I have this other account that I have my niece or nephew running something for texting, or I have this other account for a funnel, or I have this calendar system. Like, how do we manage that conversation? Because we know the power of high level and the ability for it to come, but how do you demonstrate the benefits in a way from a sales
Yeah,
standpoint?
and that's completely okay. If someone's got a partial solution in place, your job is not to go in and say, remember, we're trying to get our foot in the door. We're not going in and saying, oh, that solution sucks. Go ahead and replace it. We can do it for you instead, right?
Which we know a lot of them are subpar, but we we
Right.
we're not gonna bamboozle their existing duct tape solution.
Exactly, because whatever they have in place has been working for them in whatever expectation of whatever that working is for them, right? It's working, they're using it, they're paying for it, right? Instead, you can go say, okay, great, feel free to keep that in place. We also have this feature in our software, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. It's included as part of this package for you. If at any time you feel you're doubling it up or you no longer need that, guess what? You're going to be able to cancel it and you're paying 99 bucks a month for it. Now that's $99 you're going to save because this is already included as part of it. But don't cancel it yet. Just try out our product, make sure it works for you. And then if it does work and it does do a great job, then go ahead and save that 99 bucks or whatever the amount you're paying for it.
That makes sense. So it's like a soft nudge of like, hey, this is already included, no need to make any changes. Because perception of change is the problem with a lot of business
Yeah.
owners. When they go in with a new app or there's a new calendar, they feel like an entire system is changing, which is not really the case. It's just the perception around change that's the problem, not the change
Correct.
itself.
Correct, exactly. I was looking for a new tax planner, tax strategist, and the guy told me the same thing. And he said, "You've got a CPA? Okay, great. We don't want you to change your CPA. Keep your CPA. We're going to do the tax strategy stuff only, right? And that's it. And if at time you feel like, hey, we can just go ahead and take care of CPA and you're doubling it up or whatever, go ahead. Go ahead and drop your CPA at that time and let us take care of it, right? So you're making them the concept is ease them in and let them trust you first before you're saying, okay, go ahead and cancel, drop everything you're doing
Yeah.
and replace everything to us. And then tomorrow they find out, oh, the promises you made also didn't work out. So now they got to backtrack and get that in place. So make them feel comfortable so that they feel that there's not that much of a change that they're making. And once they've trusted your product and services, then you can go ahead and move forward with having them cancel that. It makes it easier for you.
Yeah, and I love what you're sharing because even at the mastermind, some of our challenges, we talk about Trojan horse strategies and the foot in the door offers. What you're doing here is basically having 4 or 5 different foot in the offers where you can go in and provide all of them at once if possible and just really get involved with the operations side. Okay, so let's keep
Yeah.
going. Let's keep going.
And absolutely, you don't have to necessarily go in and say, "Hey, we're going to replace all of these all at once." You can start with one of these five, but these are the five cores that I've found to be truly engaged with your operations of the business. That you should not be missing to talk about with your customers. And when they work together, it works out really, really well. All right,
Love it.
so
Love it.
that's the end of the five. Then there is also something that I shared with you earlier that we're getting in a little bit of an advanced territory here. But we did a grand opening using high level for our eighth pizza location. Who here wants to go ahead and drop a one in the chat or wherever you're watching it, streaming, if you want me to show you the step-by-step process of exactly what we did that brought in 1,000 new leads for us, and 300 people actually showed up to this grand opening.
Wow.
And we literally had a line out the door there. So
I hope those of you that are watching, a lot of times I don't just ask for engagement. If you're loving some of the things that we're sharing and you're getting a lot of clarity on the strategy of high level and how to implement really good marketing, please comment in the chat. We have the Zoom chat intentionally turned off. There's a link in there that allows you to go to the Facebook page for high level, and that's where we're watching the comments. Tell us what your, takeaways are so far. Maybe tell us what industry you're in, or tell us, some of the nuggets that you're thinking about implementing just right out of the gate. So yeah, help us understand the grand opening strategy you had there.
yeah, it's again, I like to keep things very, very simple, not overcomplicated. So the first thing we did was we ran a grand opening ad on Facebook, targeting the area nearby that location, and all we said was, "Hey, opt in here to receive a free pizza on the day of our grand opening," and that allowed us to get tons of opt-ins, and I think we spent about a total about 2,500 bucks on that ad that got us the 1,000 opt-ins from people and 300 people that showed up to that. And remember, aside from the past five things that we talked about, this is where we're just filling in the gaps as the need arises. We're not solving for the entire problem all at once. We're solving for it using the features that already exist in high level as the need arises. So when this grand opening came up, I was excited. I'm like, great, I want to use high level to do this. And this is exactly how I'm going to set it up. And it worked flawlessly. Then in our second step, we used the lead forms to capture the leads to get them to opt in. And we used high level to text back and communicate the grand opening times, the location, and how they could get their free pizza as well. And then leading up to it, we sent them reminders of the grand opening to make sure that people would actually show up and no one would forget about it. And all of that helped us capture the 1,000 people, contact information for 1,000 people that we are now able to market to as well. And then 300 of those folks showed up. We actually had the people that attended. Now, this is going another step into the advancedness of the things. We had the people that attended scan a QR code, which led to a keyword text message that people would send in. And that's just an automation within high level that you can set up where the trigger is an SMS, and then you type in whatever the keyword is there. And when they send, then it fire off a message back to them. So we use that to help them enter the raffle. And we also asked them a couple of questions. Hey, what's your name? What's your email? Right? Things of that nature there. Now we knew that these folks are present at our grand opening. This is no longer the 1,000 people that originally opted in. This is now a list of 300 people that are present at the grand opening. We then asked them to give us feedback, leave a review for attending the grand opening, and provided them a coupon with a special discount as well. And guess what happened? The sales went through the sky that
Wow. Yeah, I would even throw in enter your friend into a raffle for next time.
Yeah, there you go. You could also do that as well. But yeah, so that's the power of keeping things simple and not necessarily overcomplicating it, and using it to actually solve a problem that the business has, instead of any problem you try to solve ahead of its time is going to be met with do I really need it? Is going to be met with, why are we spending so much time on trying to do this when all we need to do is X or Y, right? So solve the problems as they come with you.
Love it. Love it.
All right. So with that being said, we're ready for our third part of this workshop, which is packaging the perfect local business package that can make the magic happen using the core features that we just talked about, right? And it's not very, very different than what we just talked about as well here. So the perfect local business package for restaurants, salons, gyms, yoga studios, dental offices, whatever it might be, you want to start with just these few features that are here. Again, you're trying to solve for attaching the system in their core operations rather than all the problems you could potentially solve for their business. Remember, if you came in and said, "Hey, we could do X, Y, Z, and one, two, three, and this, and that," right? You're immediately overwhelming that customer to for them saying, "Oh my God, that's a lot. Does that mean we're gonna have to spend a lot of money to set all these things up? And how much time you're gonna need from me? You know what? I just don't want to do it because it's gonna take a lot of my time, right?" So you're automatically met with those objections there. Instead, these are some of the most simplest and easiest features to set up, and they actually deliver a good punch for the business as well. Now, if you're a service-based business, just like my security camera company, Ovis, right? Or any home service-based business, plumbing, electrician, whatever it may be, the same exact features apply in the same exact manner to them as well. And if you're a coaching business or other online business, or you're trying to sell your own software to folks, use the same exact features in the same exact manner, right? And they work wonders. The only thing you're gonna do different is you're going to make sure you're applying it to the way that business needs to use them, right? Don't do a blanket apply across all businesses. The easiest example I can share of that is a call comes in and the business misses the call, and you've got a standard text message going out. "Hey, we're sorry you missed your call. Please text us back," right? Great. Now you've at least done something, but that's not necessarily leading to a sale. So let's say if this was a restaurant who had an online ordering website, just like I shared on the pizza restaurants, and if you instead said, "Hey, we're sorry, we missed your call. Did you know you can also order online? And by the way, here's a link." Well, now you've just moved that potential customer through the missed call closer to a sale. So that's what I mean by applying it to the actual use case of the business. That's really when you see the true magic happen. So there's three different niche categories or industries we've gone over, and the package is very, very simple, and it applies in the same exact way across all of them. The only thing you change is the application of it itself. The features are exactly the same. So let's do a quick recap here. First, fix their leaky buckets by implementing the simple things as they apply to their business. From there, then you can expand more into the advanced solutions. Then you can talk about the funnels, the forms, the calendars, the social planner, right? And apply those to as that business may need. But first, start with fixing what's important to that business immediately. So the biggest takeaway here that I want you guys to take is that simplicity is truly the key here.
And it's hard to grasp that when we're all excited about all the features of the software. Right?
Yeah.
It's when I talk to all the tech wizards, they get excited about Sean's next, coming at you video that's updating this and that. But from a business strategy standpoint, it's really easy to overwhelm the mom and pop shops, especially these brick and mortar locations that are often set in their ways, or they have an existing system of some kind, or they're in fear of having to manage all this themselves. It's not that they want to add things, but they're like, well, if I add this, I'm gonna have to deal with it left and right. And so it is important to keep this whole process, the prescription, really simple and give them the confidence, like slowly at a time. Beant, tell us what we're gonna learn tomorrow.
Yeah, so let's go to that. Oh, remember, we've
Oh
got
yeah.
this gift for you. So attend all 3 days and we'll share this for you. One of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow is the surprise I talked about earlier, is this pitch deck that we've built. For some reason, the Canva watermark showing up, but let's ignore that for now. Using the exact same core features that I talked about, how you can actually use that to pitch to local businesses. So that's in. So tomorrow, day two, basics of SMS and email marketing for a local business. What types of campaigns should you be using for them, and then the white label sales pitch deck, the playbook that I just shared with you. By
Awesome.
the way, if you haven't signed up for High Level, I've just given you so much power of how you can use these features. You should definitely be looking at signing up
Yeah.
for High.
So this link right here, it's basically gohighlevel.com/Beyond Sing offer. This link is basically attributed to this 3-day workshop. So this is a little different than Beyond's regular affiliate link, just so you're aware. Either way, I would say sign up for either or, but if you sign up through this, you get the quick start snapshot. Obviously, you get Beyond's Academy, and then you're part of this entire experience with High Level with 3-day workshop, and we'll provide additional bonuses as you come watch tomorrow, maybe day after, and we'll make sure the replays are all available. Beyond, can you do you have a sandbox account that you can do a quick demo with by chance, just off the cuff? Right now, or maybe tomorrow, if you can, if we can
Yeah,
do a quick demo of High Level, that might be helpful for those that never seen High Level.
absolutely, absolutely. I can let's do it tomorrow. I can have it
Okay.
opened up, prepared, so that way we
Perfect.
can walk through it in
Perfect.
the manner that we need to
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. And before we go into the automations tomorrow, if we can, understand how missed call text spec work or reviews work or even database reactivations work or any of these fundamental pillars we talked about work from a workflow standpoint, that'll I think help quite a bit of people that are watching. I see a lot of new names that I've never seen before, so I'm assuming there's a lot of people that don't have high level just yet. They're just on the fence, just trying to understand what we all do at high level. There's so much noise around it, and it's hard to differentiate what's relevant and not relevant. So beyond brick and mortar locations and this workshop, day one is pretty much done for now, and day two we have a lot to cover, and we also have day three. Anything else we should do as homework or any expectations for tomorrow?
No, I would definitely say, and I believe, Paulson, if I'm not mistaken, you told me that if someone's signing up during the workshop, they get a 30-day trial on the 297 plan, right?
Yeah, they get the
So
30-day trial. Yeah.
So if you haven't signed up, definitely do so. That way, when we're going through it tomorrow, you can see the inside of it, and maybe you want to walk through it along with us, and see how the software functions. So I guess the homework is sign up for the trial, go through the little bit of the setup process. It's not that difficult, fairly easy to go through, and set it up. And if you're a local business, I'm excited to have you start using some of these features that we just talked about, implementing them for your business in the manner that they would apply there so that you can help grow your business there as well.
Awesome. All right. So replays will be available in our YouTube channels. We'll have all those shooting out through the emails. If you signed up for the workshop itself, you should get reminders, confirmation emails. I know we had a little bit of a delay today in the beginning based on time zone issues. So we corrected that. We had reminders going out, I think 5 minutes after we started the call. But either way, a ton of you joined, but tomorrow all those will be shooting out on time. But either way, thanks for watching day one of the brick and mortar workshop. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day two.
Fantastic. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.